Hi, my name is Mark Stone, and for this project, I have decided to research the Osage Nation. The Osage Nation is a North American Plains tribe located in what is present day Oklahoma, originally from southwest Missouri. In this project, I will discuss the history, religious views, and cultural norms of the Osage Nation, as well as some of the highs and lows that they've experienced over the last 350 years. In an article for the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, George Sabo III says that the early Osage were known to be an industrious tribe. They were known for agriculture and farming. As I said before, they were located in southwest Missouri, where they lived in villages for most of the year. These villages included longhouses that would hold 2 to 3 families. Each village also had a war chief and a peace chief, as well as a sort of high council known as the Little Old Men. Women grew corn, squash, beans, and men hunted for deer, bear, and antelope when they were living in the village. And then in the summers, they would travel to the southwest plains of Kansas to hunt for buffalo before returning home to the village. The French first made contact with the Osage in 1673. From there, they formed a trade partnership, which was quite prosperous for the Osage people. They became somewhat dominant in the Plains tribes and leaders of the fur trade. In an article for EBSCO, Matthew Despain discusses how the tribe came to be known as Osage. This isn't actually the tribal name. The tribal name was Osage. And when the French met them, they tried to spell that word in French. It came out to something like Osage, looked like Osage, eventually became Osage in the English language. By the early 1800s, the Osage were forced to cede their lands and move to what is now southern Kansas. Here they faced clashes with the neighboring Cherokee tribe over tribal hunting grounds. This led to war and bloody conflict for many years, eventually forcing the Osage to cede their lands once again to move to what is now northeastern Oklahoma. This was some of the worst land in all of Oklahoma for agriculture, and it led to an economic downturn for the Osage. They had a little success with leasing the land out to cattle grazers, but there really wasn't much money coming in until the late 1800s when oil was discovered on the land. Basically, each member of the tribe was given head rights, so they had mineral rights to certain portions of the land. They then leased this land to oil companies, and the tribe became incredibly wealthy. In fact, they were one of the wealthiest populations per capita at the time for the next 20 years or so. Then we had the Reign of Terror, which began, which was when a group of white men came in and coerced the women into marrying them, murdered around 60 tribal members, stole the head rights, and stole money. Eventually, the FBI stepped in, was able to prosecute and convict these men, and the head rights were given back to the Osage, and they continued to prosper through the rest of this oil boom. The Osage also have a rich religious tradition. Tink Tinker in the Encyclopedia of Religion discusses what those beliefs entail. The big one is that they believe in something called Wakanda, which is a great spirit. The spirit differs from a Western god in that it's sort of all encompassing of the universe, and it's divided into sky and earth. And that's a duality that kind of plays out through many of their cultural norms and their customs. So each village is built with a road running east to west, and then the clan is divided into sky people and earth people. Sky people live on the northern side of the road, earth people live on the southern side. Marriages are arranged between these two, further kind of exploring that duality. The side of the body that was slept on in bed was also determined by whether you were a sky person or an earth person. There also were ceremonies for lots of things. So everything was considered to have spiritual significance, everything from making a pipe to getting married. These ceremonies could last from a couple of hours for smoking a pipe to many years to electing people to tribal positions, but ceremony was very common, as was prayer. Current day, most members of the Osage Nation practice some form of Christianity, whether that be Catholicism, Protestantism, or attending the Osage Native American Church, which combines Christianity with traditional peyote ceremony. In an article for Missouri Life magazine with no author, the current chief, Jeffrey Standing Bull, discusses the state of the Osage Nation now. There are 21,000 members. That's way up from the lowest of 2,000. And while oil isn't big money anymore, they make money from gaming, and that allows them to provide tuition assistance and healthcare for tribal members, as well as there's an immersion school for young children to learn the language and keep it alive. So, despite the challenges that the Osage have gone through over the years, they continue to thrive, and the future looks bright for them. A couple of quick visual guides. These are the longhouses that we discussed in the villages. And this is a chief from right around 1909, so during that oil boom. This is a chief from then. Thank you. I hope you've learned some from this.